So I have spent the better part of, I want to say, 3 hours playing the brand new Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway. And I just wanted to take a couple minutes to kind of go over my thoughts about the game, what I like about it, what I don't like, give you sort of my early impressions. Unlike most of my videos, I'm actually doing this unscripted. I have 1 or 2 ideas of what I want to talk about, but otherwise this is just me kind of rambling for a few. If this is something you like, let me know. I'll try and do it with other games that come out and we'll see what happens. First and foremost, the game looks about what I was expecting. It looks about on par with Kart Racers 2. It does have some differences to it, like it obviously looks a little bit more fluid. I'm playing on a PlayStation 5 version of the game, so things are a little bit more detailed and the frame rate is fairly consistent throughout. That said, some of the models look a little off to me. I feel like the translation to 3D for some characters worked better than others, most notably with Jimmy Neutron because, well, I mean, he's already 3D, but then you get characters like Danny Phantom, who in any of the appearances, whether it be the Kart Racers or in All-Star Brawl, I always feel like they just can't quite get his model to look right. I don't know, that might just be a personal thing for me. But speaking of the different characters in the roster, the fact that the game has 40 different racers is phenomenal. Like, that's a lot of different characters to choose from, each with their individual stats. The fact that you can customize your karts and choose a bike as opposed to a kart now. You get all sorts of different crew members. Like, there's a lot of customization to be had here. I do keep finding myself sticking to the specific things that I enjoy. I keep using Toph as my main driver. I keep using the same bike, the same tires on it, the same exhaust. Like, occasionally I'll upgrade it if I get something that's slightly better, but for the most part, I just kind of stick with what I have. It doesn't make too much of a difference for me if I have different parts or not. I do the same in Mario Kart, where with Mario Kart 8, they let you like customize your kart and all of that. I pretty much just use Waluigi, bike, and that's about it. The thing with the roster in this, I have no problem with the kart customization. That's awesome. The fact that it's there is always great. I have some problems with the roster, though. One of my big issues with the roster this time around is it doesn't feel like they really went above and beyond to include a lot of unique and fun characters. Like, yes, we got Jimmy Neutron and Jenny in now because they clearly had some deal with Federator in order to get Jenny, and then they had some deal with whatever studio makes Jimmy Neutron so they could get that. But on top of that, we have 2 versions of Reptar. Literally just Reptar and then Purple Reptar. That is just... That's like making Cole from Infamous in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, giving him 2 slots because one of them was good Cole and one of them was evil Cole. It feels like such a waste of a spot. And then you have the fact that they decided to put in the Camp Coral versions of SpongeBob and Patrick. I have no problem with the show. I mean, it's stupid and harmless. Kid drivel. I watched like 3 episodes and thought nothing of it. But we already have SpongeBob and Patrick on the roster. Did we really need to go the Mario Kart route and add baby characters just for the sake of a slot fill? I mean, hell, I made an entire video talking about characters that I would love to see that would make more sense to fit into here, and they just include 2 babies in a purple version of Reptar? I don't know. It feels wrong to me, but I could be in the minority here. I honestly don't know. But for like the target audience of kids who probably watch Camp Coral and stuff, you know, if they like it, cool, that's awesome. I'm speaking as a 30-year-old who is just nostalgic for Nicktoons. Otherwise, the roster is pretty much okay. You've got a little bit more representation for 1 or 2 franchises. They gave Gurr his own spot instead of just being like a backpack accessory thing for Zim. They added a couple more Rugrats characters. Like, I just like the fact that they've added more characters. So that's always fun. I know that there's at least 1 or 2 characters that are like hidden and unlockable. I've just seen them in trailers and stuff like that that I don't have yet. But I'm working my way towards that as we speak. Like I said, I only have about 3 hours of gameplay as of right now. Moving on to things like the actual races, they have the cups again, they have individual races, time trials, and the arena combat stuff. But this time around, they included what are called challenges. Basically, they give you a character and a customization thing and then say, oh, overtake 5 vehicles before time runs out, or go through a shortcut at least once and make sure you win the race. Like, they're cool little side objectives that have their own little section, and completing a list of them does unlock different character each time. There's 6 in total from what I can tell, and I've already completed 4. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's an extra little thing to keep you playing, keep you going. There's obviously the time trial ghosts and stuff like that, but I think probably my big highlight for the game right now would have to be the courses. there are a lot of courses. There's almost 50 courses, 44 I think in the game, and all of them look great. Some of them are courses that were in previous titles for the kart racing games here, but I don't mind, partly because of something they did with how they changed them up. First and foremost, they have the Slime Speedway that's in the title. At certain points in the race itself, you'll find these ramps that are just like a purple slide tube. Go on it, have fun, and avoid jumps to get a little bit of a speed boost. Sometimes this can act as a shortcut, other times it's just another path, but for the most part, it's just fun. It's kind of a unique little added twist. On top of that, I was one of the people who played the first two games prior to this. I played Kart Racers 1 after I played Kart Racers 2, and I was genuinely surprised that they didn't include the boat racing stuff from Kart Racers 1 in Kart Racers 2. Occasionally your kart would transform to be like a jet ski in Kart Racers 1. And to my genuine surprise and delight, it's returned here for Kart Racers 3. A lot of the tracks from the previous games are retrofitted to have new water sections. Areas might be flooded that weren't before and such like that. And then you get to just kind of go through and play these same courses, but they're a little bit different now, which is, it's a good way to kind of bring these back without just supplanting them in and saying, here you go, more courses. The new courses themselves all look great. They all play wonderfully. There is one other minor annoyance that I have, and surprisingly, that's the voice acting. So with All-Star Brawl, I can understand why voice acting was an important addition that needed to be made. A lot of fighting games like that work well if you have voice acting. Like, these are iconic characters that are just sitting here slapping around each other silently. When they added the voice acting, it did add that little bit of extra flair. It added that little extra something. And then when they started advertising Kart Racers 3, they made absolutely sure to let everyone know that voice acting was going to be in the game. The problem is, the slightest action in this game triggers the voice acting. So I said I play a lot of Toph in the game, and whenever I do basically anything as Toph, she will say one of 10 lines. 3 of those are basically her just whooping in delight, and the rest are basically quotes from like the show, like I am the Melon Lord or something like that. At first, it's kind of nice. You get to hear the voice, you get to hear the novelty of it, and sometimes it is fitting to the situation. Like if they get hit with something, they actually grunt, they don't just say a voice line from it. But even just completing a cup, 4 races, 3 laps apiece, it gets really grating hearing the same voice lines over and over and over and over and over again, just for your one character. You'll occasionally hear some of the other ones if you're close enough to your other racers, but for the most part, it is just you hearing your character whooping it up, and it gets annoying fast. I've actually found myself playing this on mute a lot, which is a shame because some of the music is pretty decent, and as I said, the voice acting is nice when you first hear a character, but after a while it just gets to be a bit much. I don't know, maybe if they could find a way to tune it back a little bit or introduce like unique dialogue instead of just what sounds like pulling sound bites from the shows and then like supplanting it in, maybe it would be nice. But otherwise, I feel like it's a novelty that was added more because people made such a huff about it with All-Star Brawl that they took the wrong lessons from that and decided to just put it in here and make it a advertising part of it. Like, I don't play Mario Kart to hear Mario go, "Wah-ha!" or anything like that. If I want that, I'll play the Mario games. I play Mario Kart because it's a fun kart racer that occasionally you get to hear like Yoshi scream because he gets hit or something. In general, I'm just happy with the game. I do have my problems, like the roster I said is kind of meh, and some of the higher difficulties do have that same rubber banding issue that Kart Racers 2 had. It also doesn't help that Jojo Siwa is a racer in this game again, so I have that bane of my existence to deal with. Otherwise, it's a fun game. It's not as good as something like Mario Kart or Crash Team Racing or anything like that, but it's a kart racer with Nicktoons, even if at least one of those Nicktoons is just a carbon copy and the other 2 are babies, but whatever. And if you're a fan of the ones that came before it, or you just like kart racers in general, for what it is a lot of fun. Overall, I would say that Kart Racers 3 is a very fun game. It kind of takes the best of both worlds with what came before, Kart Racers 1 and Kart Racers 2 Grand Prix, smashes it all together into a fairly well-developed game in the fact that I believe it only had about 2 years of development, and the fact that it has as much content as it does is fantastic, even if some of it is admittedly a little recycled. And just in general, the game is a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to do within it that will keep you busy for quite a while if you're the kind of person who wants to play that kart racer multiple times. I will say, kind of avoid the online mode. I'm only going to be playing it because there's trophies related to it, and it doesn't really have much going on. Otherwise, it's just racing. I don't know if there's a lack of cross-platform play. I don't know if it's just not a lot of people are playing. All I know is that I tried getting into a race for about 20 minutes, and I only had one person show up. So yeah, that's basically Kart Racers 3. It's a game that I'm fully intending on getting the Platinum Trophy in, kind of keep the streak going with these games. It is a lot of fun to play, and there is a lot of content to unlock, as I said, so I'll at least be somewhat satisfied with that. But in the meantime, I'm kind of curious to know what any of you are thinking. Is there anything about the game you really like, anything you don't like just from what I've shown, or if you've played it, let me know. But otherwise, thank you all for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this, where I give my first impressions on a game, and I will see all of you in the next video. Take care.